A very good morning. You're watching Wion, World is One. I'm Shivangi Shukla, and in the next 30 minutes, I'll take you through all the top stories on Wion Speed News. Two Brazilian tourists captured the moment a volcano erupted off New Zealand's North Island, killing 5 people and leaving an unknown number unaccounted for. The couple, Mora and Alexandro, had just left the island by boat when the eruption happened. They sent the video posted to social media platform Instagram. At least 5 people were killed, up to 20 injured, and several were reported missing after the eruption. An 8-year-old climate activist climbed up a street light in front of COP25 summit to demand action against climate change. The young activist showed a white flag reading, "How dare you?" a famous Greta Thunberg's quote from one of her speeches. Known on social media, the movement has seen a young activist climb in other cities such as Berlin to call for urgent action on climate change. Oman's Sultan Qaboos arrived at Brussels airport and then settled in a 4-star hotel. A statement from the Sultan's court had announced that he was travelling to Belgium for medical checks that should take a limited period of time, but gave no details on the Sultan's condition. Western-backed Qaboos, 79 years old, has ruled the Arabian Peninsula state since he took over in bloodless coup with the help of Oman's former colonial power, Britain. In 1970, he has travelled abroad for medical reasons at least twice since 2014. Qaboos has no children and has not publicly appointed a successor, but he secretly recorded his choice in a sealed envelope addressed to the Royal Family Council. The Iraqi activist killed overnight was laid to rest as protesters continued demonstrating across Iraq. The activist Fahim al-Tai was gunned down in the city of Karbala by armed men on a motorbike. It was unclear who the perpetrators were. In Basra, tribesmen carrying flags joined demonstrators on the streets to show their support for the ongoing protests across the country, which comes days after the Iraqi parliament approved the resignation of Prime Minister Adel Abdul Mahdi. Over 400 people, mostly young, unarmed protesters, have been killed by Iraqi forces since mass anti-government protests broke out on October 1st. More than a dozen members of the security forces have also died in clashes. The unrest is Iraq's biggest challenge since Islamic State militants seized large parts of Iraqi and Syrian territory in 2014. A Brazilian football team, Cruzeiro's final match of the season, was abandoned before the end of play after fans ripped up seats and threw them at players after the team was relegated from Brazil's first division for the first time in their history. The referee abandoned the game with some 5 minutes remaining shortly after the second goal condemned the home side to a 2-0 defeat. Police fired stun grenades as angry fans threw objects and fought on the terraces, and officials decided it was not safe for the players to continue. Russian forces have entered Raqqa, the former de facto capital of the Islamic State Caliphate, in one of the starkest examples get to how Moscow has filled the vacuum created by President Donald Trump's decision to pull U.S. forces from northern Syria. Russian troops were shown in Russian television footage shaking hands with Syrian children and unloading the aid bundles with the slogan, "Russia is with you," from the back of trucks. In fact, Raqqa was captured 2 years ago by U.S. troops and their Kurdish-led Syrian allies in the biggest victory of Washington's campaign against Islamic State in Syria. But since Trump abruptly had ordered a pullout in October, Moscow has swiftly advanced into territories where U.S. troops had operated. An eyewitness video film showed cars struggling to move through a flooded highway in Lebanon. The floodwaters reached up to some of the vehicles' bumpers. In the video, some of the cars remain stationary and others edge forward slowly through the water. People in affected areas blame the scenes on chronic mismanagement and poor maintenance of roads and highways. British opposition Labour Party leader Jeremy Corbyn promoted his party's green credentials on Monday, but also took aim at the Conservative government's management of the UK's public health service. On the same day, Prime Minister Boris Johnson was criticised for his response to a photo of a sick child. Corbyn said Labour would invest in a green industrial revolution if it emerges victorious from Thursday's general election. Country's National Health Service has been the primary pillar of Labour's campaign thus far, and Corbyn told assembled supporters that the emergence of a photograph showing a 4-year-old boy apparently being treated for pneumonia on the floor of Leeds General Hospital showed how dire the crisis is. Flower tributes were laid by New Zealand's Pilot Bay on Tuesday for victims of volcanic eruption off the coast of the country's North Island, which killed at least 5 people and injured more than 30 on Monday. Bouquets of flowers and New Zealand flags were also left by the port, where a 16-deck cruise liner of the Ovation of the Seas was docked many days. In fact, the liner was there at the time of the eruption. Police said that 47 people visited the island on Monday, adding that some 31 were in hospital and 3 had been discharged. Speaking to local media, a member of the St. John's Ambulance Service said that victims of the unexpected eruption sustained mainly blast-type injuries and burns. Police said they did not expect to find any more survivors. A new Banksy art installation appeared to be on a brick wall on By Street in Birmingham, UK. On Monday, a video of the new installation was shared on Banksy's Instagram page, along with a caption that seeks to raise the plight of the homeless in Britain. Caption tells the story of a homeless man named Ryan who was given a hot drink, 2 chocolate bars and a lighter from passerbys. Ryan takes a sip of his hot drink before laying on a street bench that is painted to resemble Santa's sleigh, complete with reindeers. Walmart Canada apologized on Monday for listing on its website an ugly Christmas sweater that featured an illustration appearing to depict Santa getting ready to snort cocaine. Users on Twitter had noticed the offer a few days earlier and started posting screen grabs and links to the merchandise. One user posted a screen grab of the sweater's description that said, "Santa really likes to take savor at the moment when he gets his hands on some quality grade A Colombian snow." In its statement sent in an email to the media, Walmart Canada said that the sweater was sold by a third-party seller on Walmart and it did not represent Walmart's values, which often promotes itself as a family-friendly company. Performance artist David Datuna said he was not sorry after eating a piece of artwork by Italian artist Maurizio Catalan on exhibition at the Art Basel in Miami Beach. 2 days earlier, Datuna, a Georgian-born American performance artist, ate a banana that was in fact taped to a wall as part of the artwork titled Comedian. The piece, one of a series of 3, fetched around $120,000 last week, according to media sources. German automaker Volkswagen on Monday was charged with importing nearly 128,000 vehicles into Canada, contravening the country's environmental legislation. Volkswagen was charged with 60 counts of breaching the Canadian Environmental Protection Act by importing vehicles that did not conform to prescribed emission standards. The charges included 2 counts of providing misleading information. The court hearing is scheduled for December 13th in the Ontario Court of Justice. A Volkswagen spokesman said the company has cooperated fully with the investigation by the ECCC. Fans might be more used to seeing the Harlem Globetrotters perform their world-famous trick shots and skills on the basketball court, but the players showed they can still, in fact, amaze even in unusual locations like the Vessel at Hudson Yards in New York on Monday. The Globetrotters had, in fact, performed a variety of tricks and made baskets from all 8 levels of the Vessel to a hoop on the ground. The Vessel is a honeycomb spiral staircase, a large public art sculpture made up of 154 flights of stairs and 2,500 steps. The duo threw passes to each other before, in fact, scoring hoops from vast heights. Also raced to the top of the Vessel while spinning basketballs on their fingertips.
No! No!
A church leader in California has defended the display of the nativity scene outside the church depicting Joseph, Mary and baby Jesus in cages. Reverend Karen Clark from Claremont United Methodist Church in Claremont, California, said that this year the group that plans a nativity every year was unanimous in deciding that we had to make the focus the separation of families at the border. Nativity scene was installed on Sunday night, showing the Holy Family separated and in their own cage, with cage baby Jesus wrapped in a silver blanket. The scene also showed a barbed wire next to the Christmas star. The video footage uploaded to social media on Monday shows vehicles being swept away by flooding in the South African municipality. In fact, according to local media, emergency services had rescued at least 5 people. Reports also said that severe wet weather across the province has caused the floods, and rainy conditions are likely to persist until Wednesday. Sydney's golden beaches have turned black after ash from nearby bushfires fell along its coastline. A video shot on Saturday in the northern Sydney beach shows lapping waves sustained black with ash from the bushfires that blazed over the weekend. There were 96 fires burning in South Wales, home to Australia's largest city of Sydney, with only about a half contained and more than 1,600 firefighters deployed to do back burning and create containment lines. A wintry storm system on the US-Canadian border is expected to generate at least 10 inches of snow near Lake Superior before a deep freeze settles into the region. The US National Weather Service issued a winter storm warning for northeastern Minnesota and northwestern Wisconsin on Monday. The port cities, in fact, are still digging out from more than 20 inches of snow last weekend. Near record cold temperatures expected to descend on the region after the snow moves out. sports news now. Russia has been banned from all major global sporting events for the next 4 years, including next year's Tokyo Olympics and the 2022 FIFA World Cup. The Executive Committee of the World Anti-Doping Agency voted unanimously, in fact, to declare Russia non-compliant after they were found to have tampered with key doping data from the Moscow laboratory. Russian athletes who can prove clean, dope-free records will still be able to participate in global events as neutrals. The Russian reaction to the 4-year doping year ban has been predictable, with the country's prime minister calling the move part of chronic anti-Russian hysteria. While Dmitry Medvedev did admit that widespread doping problems exist in the country, he said that the decision will also affect athletes who have already been penalized by WADA. Meanwhile, the Russian sports minister said that the country's authorities did everything in their power to resolve the scandal, and also claimed that all of WADA's crucial demands were met.
Поэтому пришлось